Today's guest is a woman who has been through so much adversity but has made all her life challenges into strengths by being a creative, helping others and growing awareness of children in care, plus much more. But before we get into this, I just want to say a huge thank you to Parliament Square Coffee for allowing us to film here. But anyway, let's get into the episode. I'll keep this short and sharp, but if you could like, share, subscribe, it would mean the absolute world. It'll allow me to open up new doors to find more amazing guests who have stories that need sharing. So we'll be able to do that. We'll be able to grow the podcast to its full potential. And this is all going to value you. So if you could do this for me, it would mean the world. Thank you for all the support so far. And there's more amazing stuff to come. Enjoy the episode. So, Kerri, how have the challenges you faced from your upbringing made you the person you are today?
So I think I've developed what I call self-preservation. So it's something where I don't rely on anyone else. So I think that has been developed. I think I've developed a strong sense of resilience that despite all that has come my way, that I've been able to overcome it. So I think there's a bit of overcomer within there. And yeah, strength. I think I would describe myself as a bit of a warrior. Yeah.
So then I think that's a perfect way to go into your upbringing. You said to me, growing up was difficult.
Yeah.
Can we touch on this?
Yeah, so my mum was a young mum, and unfortunately she didn't really have the tools to navigate having two young children as toddlers. So that meant that she ended up, I call it rejection. I suppose that's what I saw it as.
And felt at the time.
And felt it at the time, but I'm sure that's not what she felt. But that considerably impacted my life from that initial. And then being brought up by my dad and stepmom, and the relationship I had with my stepmom wasn't the best. There was abuse within that relationship, which I didn't really recognise as abuse until I became older, but that resulted in me going into the care system at 12 years old.
It wasn't spoken as much at the time though anyway, was it?
No.
Stuff like that, or even issues in the family home, was it?
Yeah, I think there was a very much like what happens in the home stays in the home kind of stuff. And I don't think social care was as much as what it
as
is
a focus.
now.
And our mental health, it's not as a big focus, when now it's so mainstream, and it's the first question people ask really with anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What would you say was, now you're older, do you think you understand what your mum was going through at that time now? Because say you've got your own kids, you can see it from her point of view as well.
Yeah, I think the difficulty is that she went on to have 3 more children in another relationship, and kind of me and my sister never really featured within feeling a part of that family. So I can understand how difficult it is being a parent, but I think the sense of rejection was further intensified when she went on to have her own family.
Yeah, that must have been really difficult, obviously.
I think the rejection kind of was tenfold, because you felt it even more then.
And you were questioning yourself, maybe.
Yeah.
Is it something about me? Is it something to do with me? My personality? And we just actually knock ourselves down, don't we? Because
there's a lot of negative voices, I think, that feed into being a person. You know, when you think there's you in school, college, workplace, there can be lots of negative kind of voices that feed into who we are. And I think when you face such a significant sense of rejection, and then you might have negative thoughts that come through those systems, that it just further kind of intensifies those feelings, and you do start to question, what is it about me, and start questioning who you are as a person.
So then you mentioned that fact that led you into care, obviously.
Yeah.
How tough was the care environment and what was it like navigating your emotions through this?
So the care environment, so there's different people go through different care systems. So you've got foster care, kinship, adoption, but I was placed in residential care, an amazing home in Bowden, which is within Trafford, which is South Manchester, I think it's classed as. But it was a very difficult environment. I think irrespective of why a young person is in the care system, it's difficult emotionally to navigate the reasons why you're there. And at the end of the day, they're never going to replace your parents. And the sense of like uncertainty, like it was always like I was in a fight or flight kind of situation, like always expecting the worst to happen
Always have to be
because
on
they
your
could,
toes in a
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely, yeah. Because the care home that I had attached like a school, and a lot of the people within the school were boys, gangs, like kind of were involved in gangs and stuff. So there was often kind of like physical altercations. There was kind of like you could almost sense something was going to
Like
happen, the
tension.
tension
Yeah.
in
It
the
was in the
air.
air. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really difficult to navigate being in the care system. And I would suggest that the care system gave me additional layers of trauma
A
to
lot of
what I'd
trauma. Yeah.
already experienced.
Was there anyone at the time who was there to support you through and navigate these times?
Yeah. So I went to grammar school initially for my secondary education, but it became too much and then moved to a high school educational system. And there was a teacher within there who was a pastoral lead who just saw me, and the head teacher, to be honest. In fact, the head teacher, Mal Lloyd, has actually just won an award. Margaret Lloyd, sorry, not Mal Lloyd, Margaret Lloyd. She's just won an award within Manchester for the best neighbour.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Really?
she just had such a caring heart. So both them people were influential in my life and just gave me a space to feel seen, supported me, and yeah, allowed me to reduce my timetable so I didn't have to do history. I just focused on the core
So they were
subjects.
understanding and
Yeah.
could feel what you were going through.
Yeah.
Because I bet at that point where you were and at the age you were growing up, you didn't really have that around you where people were fully understanding, even
Y-
people in school,
Yeah,
etc.
I think I really struggled with my emotions, and that was a common thing throughout my childhood, right through to my early adult life. Is that I just, when something happened, I just would become so emotionally overwhelmed and needed a lot of space to just be able to calm myself down. And they offered me spaces where I could do that. So.
It's really good. You don't have to answer this, but was it hard? Did you feel much unconditional love at the time? Because I know as a child, it's such a vital moment for growing up.
Yeah, hand on heart, I'd have to say that I didn't feel any love. It felt
Mhm.
like I felt an acceptance from obviously the two people that I've mentioned, but yeah, I didn't feel love from anyone. And I think in the care system as well, there wasn't any kind of you were. It felt like they weren't allowed to show any affection, like even
Yeah,
to hug you or
really?
even like
Is that
yeah.
still the case today?
I think so. Yeah, I think it has improved
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, that's all that children and young
Needs,
people
yeah.
want is you know, some kind of physical way
Affection,
of
yeah.
being shown that they're loved, and that's through obviously through the affection. So I think it has got better where there is more openness and acceptance that that's what children and young people need. But I think that it's still quite not as open as
Yeah.
it should
I
be.
bet it's really hard in general anyway, just even if we look at the care, people who work in care
Yeah,
on their side, it must be really hard for them to challenge them with so many different personalities and type of
yeah,
people and people are going through different things, aren't they? And
Yeah.
all in one space, so it must be hard for them
Yeah,
as
and
well.
it is you're in a confined space, aren't you, with each navigating different emotions, different circumstances, different life journeys, and you're forcing them into a space. So yeah, it's difficult for the staff to navigate that 100%, and I think it's really difficult to navigate each of the personalities as
Definitely.
well, and ensure that it becomes a safe space for everyone. Because if you've got a young person that's on the verge of having kind of a meltdown, as I would describe it, it's really difficult to keep that confined without it impacting the other young
Others,
people
yeah,
in that
because that is
area.
just that energy in the room
Yeah,
anyway that must have got felt, or
yeah,
in the home that you
yeah,
were in at the time.
definitely.
So I see that you're really strong and confident at these times
Yeah.
now. How have you become comfortable being able to speak on your time in care? And would you say the trauma has left you a little bit because you've
Yeah,
grown?
yeah. So I think there's been quite a journey. So I reached a crisis point where I ended up in hospital because and maybe I should give a trigger warning, but I didn't want to be here anymore. And that meant that I had to stay in a mental health hospital. And I had, from that point on, metaphorically and quite literally, I had to dig my heels in and really look at kind of why I was kept going into abusive relationships. What was it? So I was able to get some cognitive analytical therapy, which is really hard to come by. It's a specialist kind of therapy, and it analyzes your behavior and pinpoints why that is, and kind of allowing you to reflect on that, and then allow you to set acceptable boundaries so you can protect yourself. So I was able to secure that. And then I think when you're at rock bottom, there's only one way to go.
Of
You
course.
can either stay rock bottom and stay in that. And I very, very really could in that space. I could have,
It would have been easy to,
yeah,
wouldn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I could have just thought, you know what, I'm giving up. I'm turning into some form
Yeah.
of addiction just to get through, because that's what addiction is. It allows us to numb the
And
feelings that we're
mask it.
feeling
Yeah.
and
Of
mask it.
course.
And the next day you're back in that situation. So I had to really heal and look at my behaviours, understand why I was struggling with my mental health so much. And I believe that a lot of that was because I was holding trauma within my body. So research has suggested that those that hold trauma, and obviously if you're in the care system, you've experienced adverse childhood experiences. So I was holding that trauma in my body, and research suggests that we can reduce our life expectancy by up to 20 years as a result of holding that trauma. So as a result of that, and a late diagnosis of ADHD and autism, I've kind of decided that I want to use opportunities like coming on here to bring awareness and help to break the stigma, because I do really feel that there is still a stigma attached to those who leave the care system. There's a judgment placed
Hmm.
upon us.
We said that because we'll go into that because
Yeah,
we spoke on. There's a lot of negative views of kids or people who've come out of care, such as like the say naughty
yeah,
kids or stuff
yeah,
like that, where a lot of the times it's more like a dysfunctional
yeah,
family issue, isn't it?
yeah,
Which must be so
absolutely.
hard. What was that like?
Yeah, so I think society and the systems are not in place to support those that come out the care system. And I think that in itself gives stigma to the person who has come out of the system, because the statistics are heavily stacked upon us. But then trying to improve yourself is really difficult because,
100%. Especially when you haven't got a massive circle around you and
yeah,
give a shoulder or help.
Yeah,
It must
yeah,
be hard.
yeah, definitely. And I think so part of me changing was, so I found out that my worth is found in feeling useful. So if I don't feel that I'm useful, that's why my mental health will be impacted. So I now sit on the Adverse Childhood Experiences Research Panel, which is based here in Liverpool. So many good
Wow.
things
Yeah.
happening here in Liverpool. So the Mental Health Research Innovation Centre, which is based in Liverpool, which is based at the Civil Health in Liverpool Science Park. So it's the Liverpool City Region ACES Research Innovation. And they've got a bold aspiration to make Liverpool City Region, so that covers the 6 different local authorities, to be the first trauma-informed region. So that will be incredibly life-changing for those who have experienced adverse childhood experiences, those that have been care experienced, because actually, if you offer a trauma-informed approach, which is basically just offering a psychologically safe space with no judgment, empathy, compassion, all those positive words, it's life-changing for those who've experienced trauma.
100%.
So I'm really excited.
Because there's an understanding as well, and it's like people who are there are going to be able to just start by being able to relate and
Yeah,
maybe learn off of us how this person's dealt with this, someone's dealt with
yeah,
something else. So it's really powerful that there's a space
yeah.
created for that.
And I do feel that lived experience is being more valued. And the reason I believe that is one of the things, I won't say it now because you might touch on it later, so I would stand off.
But I got a shock, to be honest, when I did a bit of research and we spoke. It was 50% of adult population experience care. Like, I didn't know it was that high, to
Yeah,
be honest. And then it said 25% are homeless
yeah,
and 40% of parents who have children
yeah,
go into care. So I think even
yeah,
it shows how needed it is, the support networks and
yeah,
the help for
yeah.
people going through them times.
And in at the moment in Liverpool, there's out. So I attended an event where it was shared. So this was shared with by the Office of National Statistics, but there's 16,000 children on the brink of being placed in care in Liverpool alone. And that just goes to show for me the extent of how many families are struggling with every imaginable crisis happening in the world. Just heartbreaking, isn't it, to
Yeah.
think 16,000 children. Wow. And they're going to experience, because the system hasn't changed from when I was in care, you get a statutory level of support. But in my opinion, in my lived experience, the statutory support isn't always delivered. And that means that you've got a young adult at 17 being placed in a flat, navigating life with,
Adult life on their
yeah.
own, yeah,
And it's no wonder then that we've got these statistics,
of
because we haven't got,
issues and
yeah,
underlying how bad
yeah,
the people are with mental health issues and stuff.
yeah,
It's awful.
yeah.
It is, to be
And I
honest.
think that relates back to that sense that all the human, all a human wants is to feel like they belong. And when they don't feel like they belong, that's when that's when they reach out to external ways to get that sense of belonging. And often that is why we've got young people who are being exploited, because they give them a sense of belonging. So I think that's the very cluster,
Definitely.
isn't it? That
I
belonging.
I agree with that, because I had somebody who come on as well, and they spoke about currency is
Yeah,
relationship is the greatest currency,
yeah,
and that links in with that. I think it's truly, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah,
It's really, it's really difficult to just go through life alone anyway, but
yeah,
not being around people,
yeah,
it's even worse.
yeah.
So I think that's an amazing segue to talk about your amazing business and project
Yeah.
you have been creating and how it's going.
Yeah, so I'll be completely honest with
Yeah,
you.
of
It's
course.
not easy. So out of my lived experience, I believe that care leavers, carers, and adults with neurodivergency. They're often the isolated people amongst our communities. So I want to create a space for them to feel supported through creative exploration. Art is and art can take many forms. It can be in media, it can be in TV, film, or it can be the very creative hands-on of painting and
It's in all walks of life.
creating.
I think
Yeah,
it's every job. I think art, if you really break it down, is in all
yeah,
sort forms of
yeah,
work. Yeah.
absolutely. And I believe in those spaces where we get to create, that's when we can quieten our minds, those intrusive thoughts that often can wrap our mind and believe that, we are unworthy. For in that space where you can create something, that you're able to direct those thoughts
You're
into
focusing
something.
on, aren't you? Because
Yeah,
then when you're in a, as we say, flow state,
yeah,
you're focusing on that moment and
yeah,
all your mind's filled with what can I do for this? Or just working on the
yeah,
project where it's not going off thinking about your
yeah,
troubles or traumas or because everybody goes through them, to be
yeah,
honest, on a more broader form we all
yeah,
do.
absolutely. And there's art therapy as well. Like there's more um there's more flow of being able to talk about something when you're in that creative space, isn't there? So,
Do you think
uh,
school allows us to be creative enough?
absolutely not. I feel that the educational system is very outdated. It doesn't allow for creative minds. Um, it doesn't allow for out of the box thought processes, and it's very much
Structured, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and adherence, like you do this, you do this,
There's
you
a
do this.
format, isn't there? There's
Yeah,
no, it's not real life because in real
no,
life, I don't think you can plan a format
no,
because you, even if you set up your own business, for example,
yeah,
you could tell us all now, it hasn't gone sailing
yeah,
straight, has it? It's
no,
gone up and down. So
yeah,
you can't always plan. And
no,
I think that is a huge struggle for all children who
yeah,
leave school system and then come into the real world and like, oh no, it's not all
yeah,
planned, it's not all structured. You might have really bad days and then some days are like the
yeah,
greatest.
yeah.
So
I don't think it's any coincidence that we're dealing with a mental health crisis among children and young people. Obviously, we've got the negative views that they can have like spontaneous access to at the click of a few
I
clicks,
know,
aren't they? And they're getting barrage of incidents that are happening, and it's difficult for us as adults to navigate what's happening in the world around us. So, then as children and young people, and then being in an educational system where there isn't, teachers are so like, they've got so much, there isn't that flexibility to offer a more tailored approach.
I know it's
It's
so structured, isn't it?
yeah,
And I think it's so difficult in a way because I think if we could allow people to be more creative, even if that isn't a core subject of
yeah,
maths, that's only going to help the future of generations of
yeah,
being improving this country or other countries in general.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I've got a friend, Barry, who I think you've had as a guest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's shared with me that actually the best way to learn is visually,
Yeah.
and like when you're creating. So if you've not got the opportunities in that space to create visually and to be able to learn visually, then you're only going from one standard of learning, aren't you?
And there's so many different
Yeah.
standards of learning. You can learn in so many different ways. And now with having the internet and being able to go far and wide, there's
Yeah.
so many different options. But
Yeah.
we haven't caught up with that with school yet, which
No.
hopefully in the future somebody will
Yeah.
come along, maybe you,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
sort it out. um, then let's go on to what made you create this project.
So it was out of my lived experience. So yeah, so just realizing the value of lived experience. So, and I think this is what I was going to draw attention to, and then realize that you might pick it up later. But this is one of the quotes I say is empathy is one of the greatest gifts one person can give to another. But when that's weighted in lived experience, that empathy feels a lot deeper, that deeper level of empathy, that deeper level of compassion, because you know what that feels like and you can be emotionally moved to understand what they've gone through.
Wow.
So I think that is effective in recovery. So that's why lived experience recovery counsellors are sought, because it's that lived experience. If you've got someone here, and I don't want this to sound judgmental, but if you've got a child or young person who's gone through significant trauma in their life and they're struggling with their mental health, and then you have someone who's graduated from university and, you know, they look very, very, very wealthy,
Yes.
how it's really difficult for that person to engage them, because straight away there's a barrier, because that young person's thinking, you haven't got a clue what I've gone through and yet you're here trying to help me,
Yeah.
and straight away there's that
Even though
barrier.
maybe they could help
Yeah,
in retrospect, it's
yeah,
actually sometimes somebody where you could be on level with or
yeah.
be on a level ground of
Yeah.
talking.
And I don't want that to sound
No,
judgmental,
I
because
don't think it does. I think,
there's amazing
yeah,
people who obviously graduate and do amazing things for children and young people who have mental health difficulties. I think there's just barriers
mhm.
sometimes for young people, especially because the young people, and already you've got the age barrier, haven't you?
I
You
think
know,
you're trying to, it's like being able to relate, isn't it?
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
if you can relate your traumas or emotions to somebody else who has been through
yeah.
similar stuff or navigated their own different
Yeah.
emotions.
So, did you ever watch Biker Grove?
No, I've
No. So
never.
that was a teenage girl who, I can't remember, Jacqueline Wilson
Yeah.
books. So
Okay.
she
Yeah.
created it, and one of the things that you might often hear in that care home was, you don't understand. And
Yeah.
that is because it's that lack of, they feel that you have a lack of understanding
Mm,
what they've gone through.
mm,
So already it's like in a heightened, like, you
mm.
don't understand.
And you put a barrier between you
Yeah,
then, don't you? That you're like, I can't
yeah,
regulate my emotions. I can't speak to them because they
yeah,
don't understand. They can't
yeah,
help me with that, where we
yeah.
need that people around us.
Absolutely. And I think the other aspect, obviously, I got late diagnosed with ADHD and autism, is when you're neurodivergent as well, it's really difficult to open up in psychologically safe therapy spaces, because we often struggle with social communication and struggle to build rapport and all those kind of things. So, for example, um, I'll give you a very real example. So my daughter is very highly sensitive to smells. So if she was to walk into a space, now the therapist might not know this, but if she was to walk in a space and say, for example, the therapist was a smoker, she would very be able
She'd
to
be
smell
smell
that
it,
before
yeah.
she'd even walked in the room, and she just wouldn't engage. And I think that is why we're in a mental health crisis for young people, because there is a lack of
Like a tailor,
different,
yeah,
yeah,
tailor people to the. You said, I could say maybe off the top of my head preferences, but
yeah,
like what could suit them to help them.
yeah.
Yeah, I know,
And
understand what
there's
you're
only
saying.
like standardized mental health services. So it's therapy, it's talking therapy. I've had many talking therapy. I know what I should do when I'm in a crisis point, but
It
I
doesn't.
don't even want to get
Yeah.
out of the house. So telling me to go for a walk, it's not going to
Yeah.
benefit me. So I think, and this is why I'm trying to get in spaces where I can help. So I'm seeking opportunities where I can have my voice heard. So I've applied to be on the Department of Work and Pensions Disability Advisory Board. I've applied to be on the trust as a trustee for the Make Every Adult Matter. And I'm just seeking opportunities to share in the research and NHS spaces how they need to think outside of the box and think of the mental health therapies and how it can be kind of revolved. No, it's not revolved.
Reinvented in a way. Yeah.
Reinvented. Yeah, that's the word I was
Yeah.
looking for. Exactly. Like reinvented to serve the neurodivergent community, because that's another thing I'm passionate about. So there's a report that was produced in April of this year that showed that 80% of the youth justice, so from whatever age, 12 to 17, are neurodivergent.
Wow.
And that was produced in April of this year. And I was like, wow, what are we doing so wrong for those to feel that criminality is the way of life? And I think an aspect of that is if you're in the care system, so talking about foster care, and you lashed out physically towards another foster child or a foster parent, the foster parent would need to go through criminal processes.
Really?
Yeah, because that's
The
it's
procedure.
different than
Yeah.
being in a family. Now, if that was in a family home, so one of my children really struggled in mainstream education, and he was physically aggressive within the home environment. So if that was the situation in a foster home, they would have to go through the criminal investigation route. So I think, and there isn't the research out there as far as I believe, that the reason for that is so high is because we have a high number of children and young people in the care system, because that's of those situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if they stole from the foster carers,
Yeah.
they'd have to go
Okay.
through.
I didn't know that,
Yeah.
because say it was in a normal, like say family home environment, that wouldn't be the case,
No,
would it?
no.
Unless it was the parents' opinion to do that.
Yeah.
It would never be like the
No.
thought to that get
It'd be the-
punished, or we don't do that, or
Yeah.
something on the
Yeah.
lines of that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So I think that's possibly the reason why we're seeing such a high prevalence of neurodivergent in the youth justice system. But that's just me kind of summarising and anticipating that is the case. There isn't specific research out there that shares that is the case, but from my limited knowledge, that is what
Yeah, well,
why I
the
anticipate.
story you've told and your opinion on that, it
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
it shows
Yeah.
100%. So at 45, 46, you were diagnosed with ADHD and
Yeah.
autism.
Yeah.
What was this? Was it a shock? Because
Um,
obviously
I
it's a late diagnosis, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think it so it felt for me like a few moment, like it all makes sense. But then I went through a bit of a grieving process, because I was like, well, if I had been understood a lot better. So I was always labeled as too sensitive. So if you look at some of the characteristics of autism, particularly in women, it is that emotional regulation difficulties. We struggle to regulate our emotions. So I'm quite a people person. I love meeting people, but often I suffer with extreme fatigue as a result of meeting people, because I just have to like regulate myself. So all the things, when you look back, kind of I was like 100%, but why didn't people know sooner? But then out of that late diagnosis, I've recognised within my community that there's an ever increasing number of women, particularly because women present very differently for autism as boys, generally speaking, is that they're being late diagnosed, but they're also navigating being a parent carer in the family home, supporting and advocating for children and young people with neurodivergency in the family home. That's quite isolating. And that is a battle that can affect your mental health. So not only have we got women in communities navigating being late diagnosed, possibly grieving, possibly going through, because once you get the diagnosis, that's it.
You've got it.
You've
Yeah.
got it, but there's no support afterwards. You might be able to get
Yeah.
medication, but in terms of understanding, so ADHD and autism, both diagnoses together, it's described often as a push and pull, because the ADHD is like, I want spontaneity, I want something fun, I don't want routine, I want I want to buy that notebook because it's got a fluffy. And then the autism wants routine, it wants structure, it wants to know what you're doing at 8 a.m. every day. And it's the push and pull, and you need to know to be able to navigate the push and pull. So I was able to seek out some coaching from someone called Audrey Urquhart, who is an AUDHD Leanne Maskell trained coach, and learned to work with the ADHD and autism. So often we go into a hyper focus moment where we just like, oh, so we'll see something and we'll be like, I need to know more about that. And we'll go down a little rabbit hole of researching, reading this paper, reading that paper, finding out how this is the case. So it's learning how to work with that, but also learning that we need our protected times. So just to protect our energy levels and stuff. So yeah, that was interesting learning that. But then out of that late diagnosis as well, I developed something that I was able to release the trauma that I was holding in my body in a visual way. When I used to go to church in my early Christian journey, I was given a prophetic image of a rose, and the person sharing it with me shared that I was dropping off the dead leaves. So out of that prophetic image, I've created a visual trauma release program, and it's basically just releasing our bodies of that trauma in a visual way, psychologically safe space, with meditation, with different sensory experiences feeding into releasing. Because things like shame, so if you've been a victim of abuse, we often hold shame within our bodies.
And you wouldn't want to
Yeah.
express that, would you, to
No.
anyone? It's more like you've got to keep a
Yeah.
a secret or
Yeah.
push it under the rug
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
And that blew my mind. I was in a space and I was thinking, why am I keep getting to these points where I'm feeling I don't want to be here? What is it? And it was these negative thoughts I had with me. So the shame that I allowed in my head, I allowed things to happen to me. So I was holding on shame. So with this visual release program, I was able to release shame and people pleasing. Because if you please people, you're gonna burn out. Just releasing anything for lazy, being able to release that word lazy, because so many times people have said lazy, 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 and we start.
You're put into a bracket then,
Yeah.
and you start being that. And
Yeah.
it comes from an early age, I would say.
Yeah.
Going back to school, it comes in an early age of
Yeah.
that. It starts. So if you get labelled as a naughty kid or
Yeah.
oh, he's the comedian of the class, it's
Yeah.
like, well, you end up over time becoming
Yeah.
that person and
Absolutely.
living into the feet of what they would act like and be.
Yeah.
So it's such a negative thing when when people label others. It's just
Yeah.
and especially when you're going through your own issues yourself, that
Yeah.
must be really hard to
Yeah.
understand that. But then people are like labeling you, and you're thinking, is this who I am? Have I got to
Yeah.
live up to being this? Is this all I am?
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel that society doesn't help that, you
No.
know. So when I came out the care system, I entered into an abusive relationship. So it was a further layer of trauma, but it's no, I'm trying to think of a word not to use other than crazy, but I'm going to say it's crazy how many of those words spoken into my being I accepted as my own. Like crazy stuff that I just took in as part of my being, as part of being in that abusive relationship. And I was holding on to that. Why I was believing all those things that had been spoken into me, I was never ever going to achieve anything in life.
Do you think it was because the environment and the way you were living at the time, it was it was getting feeded to you that much that it was ending up being resonated to you,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it just becomes part of your being. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Like in schools, we're told something, but if we hear, I can't remember, I remember reading a piece of research that if we are told something so many times, we start to believe that within ourselves, and we
Definitely.
start behaving in a way that is replica of what those words have
What
been
that is, it can be
spoken.
positive, it can be negative.
Yeah,
So if we can hone in on people, adults, children, to be able to
yeah.
be more on the positive side, it's
Yeah,
going to only benefit us so
yeah,
much.
absolutely. And that is one of the key things that I think every child and young person needs to have one positive influence in their life who is speaking positive into their lives. That might be a teacher at the school, it might be someone they see in the shop, you know, the shopkeeper or something,
So a
because
role model, someone to look
yeah,
up to, yeah,
yeah, but
definitely.
is speaking what they can achieve,
See,
because I honestly believe any person can achieve anything they want to with hard work, determination. But absolutely crucial to that is having the right people around
yeah.
you. If you have the right people around you, people speaking positive, life-giving words into your life, the world is your oyster.
100%, yeah. No, you're right. Can we touch back on the
Yeah,
neurodivergent? Um, you said, and we're speaking on it with it being a push pull.
yeah,
It's like having two personalities in a way, isn't it?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that must have been really hard.
Yeah, it is because particularly in this stage where I've been trying to build a business, because no one day is looking the same. And I was recently thinking, why am I struggling? And something that might be interesting to those who are listening is that those with ADHD naturally struggle during the winter months because our bodies naturally have a decrease in dopamine and oxytocin, which are the very things that ADHD have a lack of anyway. So in the winter months, it becomes more prevalent.
Ah,
So yeah,
I bet that's really not known as well. I
yeah.
bet even with people.
No, and I knew about dopamine. So ADHD, we're often described as dopamine seeking. So that's why people with ADHD, if they can find an outlet to get dopamine, so fitness is a good dopamine, a healthy dopamine, but my dopamine is in shopping. And
Is it
that's not,
really?
yeah.
Yeah.
TK Maxx is my go-to. I have a relate a massive catalogue, not massive, but that's a slight exaggeration. But I have a lot of notebooks, and it could be because they're quirky or they've got fluffy, but TK Maxx do the most quirky notebooks you could ever imagine. So if I'm having a tough day, TK Maxx or a charity shop, you will often see me in. But yeah, ADHD and autism, it's very different. The ADHD, I think I'm very much a people person. So I love meeting people. I love listening to people, love hearing about the journeys. A bit like what you're
Yeah.
doing. That's
Yeah.
how
It's
you
very
get,
similar, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
because you identified that, didn't you?
Yeah.
So I think, that I love, but then the autism burns out a lot. So if I'm meeting a lot of people, going into spaces where I don't know, because as someone with autism, can become very sensory overwhelmed. And I think there's more move in communities to develop sensory safe spaces as well. So that's why I've got these noise cancelling headphones. So I think when I got the diagnosis, it was kind of, I am absolutely going to get stuff to help me go into these spaces. But often, as a result of going into those spaces, particularly if it's a new space, new people, not sure what to expect, lots of
It's very
noises.
intimidating, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
intimidating.
I think if you weren't autistic or neurodivergent, going into a space where you don't know who's going to be there can be really difficult anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
So adding into the mix those kind of sensory
Hmm.
differences, it can take a lot of your energy, and you need a lot of time to regulate yourself. So I think this is there's a lot of misunderstanding around neurodivergency and why we suffer from what is known as burnout. It's that kind of, right, I've done enough. I need to give myself some downtime, just where you allow yourself to be still, not to give yourself any kind of, I need to do this, need to do
Yeah.
that. Just give yourself time to just
Sit and
regulate yourself.
reset in a
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I love
Yeah.
that term,
Yeah.
reset. Yeah, love that.
But it's really difficult because you're basically telling me on one end you love to connect and speak
Yeah.
and be a people person, and
Yeah.
then on the other end you can lower in energy and you
Yeah.
can't connect. So it's like, it's where can you meet that middle ground? And obviously
Yeah.
with your specific sensory
Yeah.
stuff that help you,
Yeah.
I think maybe do you want to even touch on that, how important that's been
Yeah.
in,
So
for
it was,
example?
yeah. So yeah, I've got this little fluffy. Do you want
Yeah.
to feel?
Well, you
It's,
said it is the feelings of
yeah.
stuff that help you, but
Yeah.
it could be anything, couldn't it?
Yeah.
But do you think people should really be able to be open about these? Because I bet the people who worry be like, what if I got judged if I was out in a
Yeah.
public place and I've got a soft toy or something? Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, I think there absolutely needs to be a move to acceptance. And I think even individuals who get late diagnosed may feel that there's a judgment placed on them, that not to go into spaces. But there's a lot of things that you can use that don't have to be as visual, so people wouldn't know. So if I'm going into a business networking event, I possibly would hold this in my hand, but also as well having my noise cancelling headphones around my neck. It just gives me that safety for, actually, if I become too overwhelmed in this space, I can just put them on and just cancel out the noise. Because have you ever walked into a space and there's like, Weatherspoons is a prime example.
Anywhere in that environment
It was like,
where it's just so much background
yeah,
ambience and noise, isn't it?
yeah, because there's
Yeah.
no TVs in it.
No.
Weatherspoons, is this? So it's all literally just like
So many
10,
conversations of,
different conversations. It's just like, and I get headaches from it because it's just like,
But I think that's amazing that you have that so close to, if in need,
yeah,
you're able to calm yourself and calm your emotions and sort out how you're
yeah,
feeling in that moment. So I totally understand. It's
yeah,
a mechanism where it can just be, okay, here we go.
yeah.
We put them on. So
And I think one person stepping out and accepting it, who we are, and accepting that I will use this. One person stepping out gives inspiration to
to
other
others,
people to
yeah.
step out. I absolutely believe so. I was speaking at a fashion show recently, and I shared that I am absolutely the person that around this time of year, John Lewis, TK Maxx, they've got these amazing blankets that are like
Yeah.
so fluffy, like fake rabbit fur, that you're like, it's just
Yeah.
so, and I am the person that goes and like strokes
Strokes
every
it.
single one, and I will not buy a throw unless it's got that like very
Yeah.
sensory. It's not that. See, I don't know if you've often heard it, but like itchy, scratchy, like
Yeah.
polyester.
It's not what
It's
you
not.
know.
No, I need like soft,
Soft,
fluffy
yeah.
and stuff. So
But that's amazing that if, like, obviously, if somebody sees you with that and they're like, okay, well, she's doing it. They
yeah,
might not speak to you, but I've seen somebody else do it. I'm okay to do that as well. So
yeah,
no matter what it's in, even if it's the way you dress, seeing somebody else being comfortable in the skin and
yeah,
just being themselves and doing whatever helps them
yeah,
be comfortable and confident as them,
yeah,
we should all just go
yeah.
towards what we want to.
Absolutely. And can I just share something
Yeah,
with
of
you?
course.
So I'm going out tomorrow. It was my birthday last week, and I'm going out tomorrow. And I absolutely went into a children's clothes shop, and I just had this vision of what I wanted. So like ankle socks with like the most amazing bow that would just give it like just that little cutting edge. And I literally went into a shop in Kirby Towney and was like, I'm going to try in this shop. It's a children, but I'm going to see if they've got these
Yeah.
socks that I kind of had in my mind. And she went, oh, who would they for? And I went, for me. And she was like, oh, lovely, I love that. And
Yeah.
she celebrated it. And I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I think with age, you just accept that you are who you are. I'm always been a quirky dresser. I don't like to dress like everyone else
No,
because
that shouldn't be the case though, because we should be able to just express ourselves. And I think there's too much judging going on in the world, and I think that is down to social media, to be honest.
Absolutely. And I think it's really difficult for young people navigating, because I see it so many times in my daughter that she'll see something on TikTok, or she'll see these influencers wearing this particular type of clothing, and before you know it, it's in the high street everywhere, like different kind of slants on that version of clothing. But I'm like, no,
but
where's the originality?
People just want to fit a bracket, don't they? Because it's easy. You're just floating through life. Where if you were more feeling like, no, I want to be myself, you're gonna get people saying, why are they doing that? Why are they wearing that? You're gonna have people question. And for some people that's not nice, is it? It puts you in a position like, why are people questioning me? Am I wrong for being me? So I think it's a really tough situation, and it starts so early. But I think we need to try and stop judging people and just let people express and accept themselves.
Absolutely. And I remember someone slightly older than me saying that she used to feel that everyone was looking at her and judging her. And she got to a place where she's like, absolutely not. Everyone is so contained in their own little world.
They've got that much
life.
going on, haven't they?
But they're not even noticing what anyone, they might give a little slant, but they're not really bothered in the world. So I think it absolutely takes people to break the cycle of feeling like you
it
have
must
to
come with
fit in.
age though as well.
I definitely think.
But even if somebody gave you a compliment for what you were wearing, then that would help you be like, oh no, it is acceptable to wear this. So I also think if we could just spread affection of being like giving someone a compliment, or do you know what I mean? It's so powerful, isn't it?
It's absolutely. I believe that kindness absolutely could change the world. I believe in absolutely saying to someone, if they've had their hair done or their outfit is absolutely saying, oh, I love your outfit, because that might be the first kind word they've heard of for a week or a month or whatever.
And then that just takes them into the day, takes them into the week, and you don't know how much effect you can have on a person. Before we carry on, I've got to say, I think it's such an incredible thing that you're doing, and you're such an incredible, strong person. But how have you been able to manage and take all the trauma that you've been through and turn it into something powerful and positive?
So I think the key thing to this is having a faith, because I believe in what is written in the Bible. I've found an amazing church family. That's only recently, but I've been baptized as an adult, and I've always maintained that faith. Obviously, I've gone through periods where I've struggled with life, but that's okay. I know that there's where I believe that there's God, but I also believe that there's an enemy that wants to take me out of the world, for want of a better thing. So I'm very mindful that I need to keep myself grounded in what God says I am, because I remember someone saying this, the world would, and I think it may be from a film, the world will chew you up and spit you out.
It will.
Yeah.
More than once.
Yeah. And absolutely, not everyone has the same kind of wants to help others and support others. There's often hidden agendas and stuff, but the world is a difficult place to navigate. Systems, policies, they will keep you grounded in a negative, because if you achieve stuff, then you've achieved stuff. But I don't know, that falls a bit into conspiracy. But I think for me, getting to your question without going round the world is absolutely, my faith is what grounds me and is what I live by. I believe that Jesus gave us a model of how to live life, and that's absolutely how I try to live my life. Try to be kind, try to show everyone love, acceptance, and yeah, just standing on what God says I am rather than what the world says I am. So I've got many labels, many mental health diagnoses, but absolutely God says I am his masterpiece, and I absolutely should stand on that. He also says that he's got a plan and purpose for me, and I stand on that. What that plan and purpose is,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yes.
But yeah, it's and I don't. It means I don't have to worry. I'm saying that now, but
Yeah,
there are
I know what you mean.
stages. But
You go
yeah,
through that emotion, but do you, what I'm getting from what you've just said is, do you feel like everything happens for a reason, and there's a
yeah,
reason behind, say, a trauma's happened or a negative thing, for you to gain the expertise, oh sorry,
expertise.
expertise
Yeah,
and skills to be able to go into doing something in that
yeah,
line of work or
yeah,
speaking on that?
yeah, absolutely. So I believe that God is able to take what we go through in life, what I'll say it in biblical terms. So what the enemy meant for harm, so those trauma, those experiences, that abuse, that God is able to turn that around for his good. So me stepping out in faith, in wanting to create a support system for those who have been through the same experience as me, and to create that trauma release has been born out of my lived experience. And that's what God's been able to do. So he's done it in a timely manner as well. Because if I had had that neurodivergent diagnosis when I was younger, in my 20s, maybe I wouldn't have developed, well, I definitely wouldn't have, because I didn't have my crisis until later on in life. So everything has just been worked out. And at the time,
It
I've
does,
not
doesn't
been,
it?
yeah,
People think that when they're in the moment, they think, I'm never going to get out of this. But
yeah,
you're a living breathe
yeah,
can say that
yeah,
it works out, doesn't it?
yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. And then whatever you, so there's different faiths, different beliefs, whatever people's faith and belief is, I believe that when we're in that moment, we become so overwhelmed that we're just in that moment, and it can take us down to those deep, dark pits of despair. But when we come out of it and we're able to build on and heal and process, because we have to process trauma, otherwise it will take our life literally through disease or cancer or whatever. It will take our life. So through that journey, we've got to heal, process, and then bring about those positive changes from what and it's all worked out. When I look back and I think, and it's only just come to me now that, that I think, flipping heck,
Well, it's
yeah,
always in hindsight, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
It's like
that's,
always, I should have done this then, but like I've heard the quote, the best moment to plant a tree
yeah,
was 10 years ago or
yeah,
today.
yeah,
So,
I love that.
yeah,
Yeah, that's really good,
yeah, because
that.
it's in hindsight, we always think, yeah,
Yeah,
it does work out. We
yeah,
stress so much and we put so much pressure on ourselves
yeah,
in the moment when we're feeling that emotion,
yeah,
but it does work out. It
yeah.
does.
And I think it's recognizing as well, if you were providing support, that feelings are very real.
Mm,
So I think to validate that those feelings, that's right, that you're feeling like
definitely.
that at this time. But and I think it's people sharing their experiences as well. I think it comes back to that inspiring others that have come through a similar journey. You know, I was in a meeting talking about adverse childhood experiences, and there's like a pyramid. So you've got like the different levels of like adverse childhood experiences, and at the bottom here you've got the dysfunctional family, separation, grief, whatever it is, and it goes up. And then at the top of the pyramid is that life expectancy being reduced. And someone said, like, there's not much hope, is there? We need to find hope. That's the word. And I've got it. I did like, oh. I'll go off on a tangent. Am I allowed to go on a tangent?
Yeah, of course.
So
You're in a good space.
hope is something that I really hold on to, and I feel it can be transformative in transforming our mindset. So it's transforming it. If you've suffered from trauma and you struggle with mental health, it's breaking that mindset, that negative mindset. And hope has become a word that I've just hold on to. And I've got like it's like a mirrored frame, so it's got like mirrors going over on a rectangular kind of frame, and within it it's got the word hope. And I was doing a deep clean the other day, and God has been moving in my life, and I've not really thanked him for how he's moved. But I was doing a deep clean in my bedroom, and I actually attend Hope Community Church in Aintree.
Wow.
And that was brought about by me setting up Be Seen, sharing it on socials, going to Old Course Prison, meeting the chaplain there, and him bringing along someone who attends Hope Community Church. He does prison fellowship, and him saying, come along. And all along, I've got this word, hope, and it just didn't twig until the other day. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And I've had another example of that today. So I don't think I've shared in while we've been speaking, but when I was going through my autism assessment, they asked if they had any like obsessions or fascinations or like things that like were the whole world. And I was like, no, I've not got anything. And then my boyfriend was sat next to me and he went, you have, Kerri? Getting kind of like looking at me as if like, you have. And all around my house is love hearts. And if you look at me,
You're full, all your hearts.
Even my nails have got
people,
love.
There's all on her hands, all on her nails, and then we've obviously got
the love heart plush.
Yeah.
And so so he's like, yeah, you have love hearts. And hearts, isn't it? Because what does heart replicate? It's love.
Love, yeah.
And my motto for life, which came about as I was typing the word love. Have you ever tried to type the word on your phone, love? Sometimes it auto-corrects to live. And so out of that, I've created the family motto and the motto that I live by, which is live to love.
Yeah.
But today, so another example, so obviously hearts, and I had a meeting today to talk about setting up a Christian business community, just where Christians can come together and pray into whatever they're wanting to do for the kingdom of God. And within that space, a gentleman who had never met before has just set up on Duke Street in Liverpool. I bet, can you guess the name?
Heart. Yeah.
Heart Liverpool.
Yeah.
And there's a real thinking that Liverpool is going to be the epicenter of revival. God just moving by the power of the Holy Spirit in Liverpool to bring a revival to these people. So within that meeting, the gentleman who has I don't know if he's founded it or he's the missionary for Heart Liverpool. Yes. He's come from America and he shared people from all over the world are wanting to come to Liverpool. You've got an amazing city here. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm not Liverpool born and bred. I'm from well, should I say that?
It's okay. It's okay.
No judgment here.
No judgment at all.
But people love Liverpool.
It is. I think especially the time we're in, there's so much opportunity in the city and it's amazing. Everybody in there and everybody coming.
Yeah.
We're all welcome. Anyone's welcome. But yeah, it's in a great space at the moment.
Have you ever been to London?
Yeah, it's not.
It's
not my place, London, to be honest. It's maybe nice for a short trip or a short stay. Yeah. But don't know, no matter how much financial bracket I could ever be in, I don't think I could move to a space like that. I don't think it'd be good for me. No.
And don't you think in Liverpool as well, there's a real warmness to want to help others?
Yeah, 100%.
As well.
Everyone I've spoke to, that is always a running theme. That it is so much help others, just ask, be curious,
Yeah,
ask a question about somebody,
yeah,
start a conversation, and that is Liverpool,
yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
Well, we touched on it a little bit, but I got in touch with Andy,
Oh,
as
yeah,
you might know, and I asked him his opinion of you in
yeah,
his eyes. So I'm just going to read it out
okay,
and then let you experience it and see
yeah,
what you think of it. So, Kerri is a beautiful soul who had hardship but fought to fight and won. After all the rejection and turmoil that life has thrown at her, she still wants to fight for others who are treading the same path she did. So when you think about it, she has turned all her negative into positive by looking out for others. She truly blows me away with the love she has for the world that hasn't always been kind to her.
mhm.
Only now seeing life for what it should be, where once she was fighting school, systems, society, while managing her own past. I can truly say I haven't met many people with a heart as big as hers in a world full of sadness.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. What's it like for somebody to say that about you and have that opinion
So
of you?
I believe one of the gifts God has given me is a heart of love. There's not one person, even those who abuse me, I love and have forgiven. And I don't think many people have a heart that is like Andrew
Able
said,
to do
yeah,
that, yeah.
able to do that, able to love those who are broken. And um, I think Robin Williams, he shared that often the ones who, I don't know whether it was him, maybe I'm making that up, but yeah, I believe those who have the deepest hearts to love are those that have often gone through the deepest levels of hurt and rejection. And I think this, so I think Andrew's touched on it a little bit, but I've had to fight so many battles. So, um, private family law. Obviously, as a victim of domestic abuse, I had to fight through private family law. And it was back in the times when there wasn't as much understanding of the nature of abuse in relationships. Obviously, there's more awareness now, isn't there? But just systems I've had to fight. And obviously, I've got children who have got special educational needs. Just the fighting and advocating and say, just writing countless emails, it, it, it affects your
It
energy
does, it must
because you're
have.
constantly fighting for your child's voice, your child's education to become at the forefront of burnout professionals who are working tirelessly to have an impact in families' lives that are often the services aren't there to protect and to offer the support that families need because there's often, as a result of society, as a result of underfunding, as a result of policies, as a result of, yeah, lots of different things feed into a space where a lot of the times fighting becomes part of your nature. And I think that's often feeds into why at sometimes I've just got to the point where I'm like, if this is life, I don't want it anymore. Because the constant fighting against systems that don't see you. And I think that's why the name Be Seen, because I'm a nobody and I am, I'm just one person who's experienced different aspects of life that is wanting to ensure that no one person goes through all those things that I went through. The system should be understanding for example, just one example of how I think things could change. So those children and young people in the care system, there is a responsibility corporately from the local authority to parent those children and young people. And they should be instilling life skills. They should be instilling about domestic abuse because they're vulnerable when they come out the care system. The system doesn't care, and that's how I see it, and that's my experience of knowing people who've experienced it, it's like the system washes its hands of you and you navigate in life vulnerable, and you are vulnerable to people taking advantage of you. So absolutely, local authorities should be embedding and providing them with the skills to be able to live a fruitful life and give them the tools to identify red flags. That should be a given. And when you come out the system, if you've not got
It's
that,
not there,
no.
and it's a real struggle.
Yeah, I think you get superficial, like, is it PSHE?
Yes.
No, yeah, in school.
But
So I
it's
think
not. It's not. It's not strong. It's not
no,
touched on. There's a lot of things, especially we've touched on school loads, but I know what you mean. It
yeah,
just in general life, there's so much stuff we're missing out on that really could just benefit so many
yeah.
people.
Can you imagine what the world would look like if decision makers, MPs, um, people who get to make decisions listened to those with lived experience?
Oh,
They'd know.
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
It would be. It would change the world in a
yeah,
very positive way.
yeah,
I think if people higher up could listen to people who go through the troubles and go through the trauma, I think it would really
yeah,
change the world. Because, like we said before, it's that having that relatable conversation,
yeah.
and there's people up here and people down here, and it's you can't relate
They
to it at
haven't
all.
got, so I've seen a couple of reports that have come out recently that shows that children in the Northwest are suffering poverty.
Mm.
And you're like, how in a society are we getting to a place where children are in poverty? There's millions of pounds in the world, isn't there?
Yeah,
You've got businesses who are making billions of
it's more
pounds.
than anyone would
Yeah.
ever,
And
in
yet,
a lifetime.
yeah. And we've
Yeah,
got children in the
yeah,
Northwest who are in poverty. It just blows my mind because it's really hard when you're in that environment where poverty is a reality. Your aspirations for life sometimes can be affected by that. So, what are we doing? What are we doing to socially mobilise children in the Northwest?
you know,
It's heartbreaking
yeah,
because they're going to be the generation that come up.
definitely.
I feel the world is. We should just set that. We should
We should do
go
it
for
now.
MP,
Yeah.
shouldn't we? Set the world to
Uh,
rights. But yeah, I feel that's why it's important, and I thank you, Josh, for giving
no,
this space and
yeah.
opportunity for me to share my story and what I want to achieve, because not many people hear me, and
Mhm.
you've gave me a space to
No,
hear
well,
me
you're
and to
welcome.
see me.
And
So
I'm
hand on
thankful, yeah.
heart, thank you for that.
But no,
And
I'm thankful for you as well. And I think everybody's like that. There's so many amazing people who just need that voice and need to be heard.
yeah,
And for you, I just want to say what you're doing is incredible.
oh,
And
thank you.
it is going to be in great steads and help so many people. So
Yeah,
I think it's so powerful how you are so able to care about so many others
yeah,
as well as yourself. So
yeah.
it's a
Thank
credit to
you.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bless you.
Well, I have a closing tradition on the podcast, and it's called the walk away. And the
Yeah.
question is, if somebody walked a day in your shoes, what's one lesson they'd learn?
Um, adversity doesn't define you.
Wow. Yeah.
I think that would be a statement in, but yeah, I think, like you said, I think people go through a range of adversities in life. They might lose the job. I think there's no, I'm kind of enough tongue
Statistically.
type. Yeah.
Yeah.
Statistics that show every person is 3 months away from losing their home. And in the current climate, current economic crisis that we're in, I just think that, you can't allow adversity to define you. And I think one thing I would say is dream big. And I have that on a little canvas. In fact, I'm going to gift that to you
Thank you.
as a little reminder. Dream big, Josh.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be adversity doesn't define you, and dream big.
Definitely.
But absolutely crucial to that is having people around you who speak life-giving words into you. And if there's anyone watching this who hasn't got anyone who feeds positive, kind words into your life, please reach out, because
Yeah,
I absolutely
100%.
believe
Well,
that,
I'm going to link all socials to you as well, and
yeah,
even people with me as well.
yeah.
It's open for anyone.
And do you know today as
Yeah.
well? You know what today is?
It is, isn't it?
World Mental Health Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what an amazing time to come on and
And
talk
speak about this,
yeah,
as the time of filming
yeah,
it is. But
yeah.
I just want to say thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
And I think so many people will resonate and get so much realness from this episode,
hope
because you
so.
were really relatable, and what
Yeah.
you're doing is incredible.
Thank
you.
you. Bless you. Thank you very much.